THCA. It's the hottest new trend in intoxicating hemp products. Is it legal? Hey, I'm Morgan Davis. I'm a cannabis attorney in Raleigh, North Carolina. Let's talk about how to keep your business protected and thriving. THCA is one of many isomers available in the cannabis plant. Delta-9 THC is the one we talk about most often. Delta-8 THC has been very popular for the past couple of years. The hottest trend that seems to be taking over right now is THCA. THCA as an isomer is something that is naturally found in the cannabis and hemp plant. It is not listed in the 2018 Farm Bill. The only one, as we've discussed before, that's listed is Delta-9 THC. However, THCA has become a hot topic. As it has grown as a trend, there's a question of, is it legal? And the reason is, THCA, when heated, turns into Delta-9 THC. So as products are becoming more and more popular made with THCA, the question becomes, if you sell a product that is THCA originally and is federally compliant with the Farm Bill, and then it converts to Delta-9 THC, how is that legal? As we have discussed many times before, in the 2018 Farm Bill, hemp became an exemption from the Controlled Substances Act as long as it contained less than 0.3% Delta-9 THC by dry weight. Harley's tired of hearing about it too. Delta-9 THC is the only isomer that's listed in the 2018 Farm Bill. And so from that point forward, everybody has believed, and at least one court has found, that is the only isomer that's important when determining whether or not something is hemp or cannabis and therefore is a legal product federally. States, for a while, had the same standard. That is starting to change on a state-by-state basis. Some states now have what's called a total THC standard, where they actually take into account not only the Delta-9 THC concentration, but also the THCA concentration. The total THC number must still be below 0.3% by dry weight. THCA has become popular because you can have a product. A lot of times now it's flour, so it's actually the green material that has THCA normally sprayed on it as an extract. And once heated, converts into Delta-9 THC. When it is sold, when it is produced by whoever's producing it, whether it's the grower, distributor, manufacturer, whoever, and is sold, it is compliant, because it falls under the 0.3% Delta-9 THC limitation. However, the second it's heated, it goes through a process called decarboxylation. And at that point, converts into Delta-9 THC, and more often than not is going to go above the federal limit and state limit in a lot of cases. This is very exciting for the industry because it is yet another way in which people who do not live in regulated markets can get access to regulated cannabis, essentially, outside regulated markets, which is very important for people who have a need for it. And we've talked about before, lots of people have a need or want for regulated cannabis. And until federal legalization, they've got to find other ways around it. Enter intoxicating hemp products, THCA being the newest and most novel. At the federal level, at the moment, it seems that everyone agrees THCA is permissible under the 2018 Farm Bill. The DEA's position up until very recently has been pretty consistent that as long as it complies with the 0.3% Delta-9 THC limitation, it is hemp and therefore exempt from the Controlled Substances Act. In addition to that, as we've talked about before, the Ninth Circuit found in a case about a year ago, maybe more now, the AK Futures v. Boyd Street case, that the only isomer important for determining whether or not something is hemp is Delta-9 THC. And they stated that if Congress wanted it to be differently, then Congress should have made it differently or should make it differently now. Congress has not, and so we have the same rule as in 2018. all that would mean that THCA on the federal level, as long as it complies with the 0.3% Delta 9 THC limitation, is legal. Then you need to look at where you're distributing it. As I said, states have started to regulate not just on the Delta 9 THC standard, but also a total THC standard. So don't assume that because it's federally legal, therefore you can sell your product everywhere if you've got a THCA product, or that you as a consumer can possess it everywhere. Which brings me to the most risky part of THCA. For the seller, as long as it is maintained properly, THCA stays compliant. However, as I stated before, when it's heated, it starts to convert. That doesn't mean you have to light it. Sometimes just exposure to sun and high temperatures will cause the reaction and cause it to start to convert. So what does that mean? If you're a retailer and you've got a bunch of THCA flower sitting around in the sun in your store, it will start to convert. And so what was a legal product when you bought it from your distributor may become an illegal product. And you won't have any idea of knowing when that happens just by looking at it. It's not like it's got a gauge on it for the THC concentration. Same thing for a consumer. A consumer can go into a store and buy what is a legal product that they are told is a legal product. And if they take it and they put it in their car, or they leave it out in the sun in their house in a sunny spot on a table, it will convert. And if they then get, let's say, pulled over for an expired registration, and it, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it might be a duck. Hemp, especially hemp flower, looks and smells just like regulated cannabis, or as we like to colloquially call it, pot. And an officer is going to ask you if you've got weed. And if you tell them, no, I've got this flower and I bought it legally, and they don't believe you and they take it anyway and they test it and it comes back above the limit, you've now committed a misdemeanor, potentially a felony crime, depending on how much you got on you. And you didn't even know it because you didn't know it had converted. That's the risk of THCA. But is it legal? As of right now, yeah, it's legal, as long as it falls within the 0.3% Delta 9 limitation. And your state has the same limitation. If you're in a total THC state, may not be the case. So you need to make sure you know where you are and what the legalities are of your location, not just the federal limitation.